I was stuck around 1.4k rating for months, watching videos, buying courses, getting faster, and still stuck. Then I changed one habit, and in 5 weeks, I hit 2k iRating. At that time, I had been racing in iRacing for about 6 months. And with ups and downs, I had already won a couple races, but I was still stuck between 1.1 and 1.4k rating. And I was doing everything I thought I needed to do to become a better driver and also just see my rating growing. That's what the majority of the drivers think as the key metric of success in iRacing. I had watched countless hours of YouTube videos, bought online courses, I was following the pros, I was trying to find every single thing that could help me get better. And I was honestly getting faster, and that's how I was winning some of the races. But I was still stuck there, and the 1.4k kind of felt like a brick wall. I just could not get through. And then one day I was watching a YouTube video, yet another YouTube video, and I saw this guy, I don't remember who, but he was saying that his approach was to treat the car in the sim as if it was his car in real life. And that immediately clicked to me, because all I'm doing here is trying to develop my skills in the sim racing world so I can bring to real life racing. That's my journey. So I immediately thought I should be doing something very similar to that. In real life, if you crash the car, you pay for it. So that just made a lot of sense. So starting the next race, I started driving more cautiously. When overtaking, I would avoid those silly bomb dives. I started prioritizing putting pressure in the car in front of me rather than trying to overtake them at any cost. And I would watch them make mistakes and I would just get a position. Or whenever that wasn't enough, I would strategize which part of the track was the best one for me to overtake, and I started working towards that. How can I be in the best position possible to get to that part of the track and have the cleanest overtake possible? And I also changed my mindset when defending. So I started taking into account different things. First one was watching the difference in pace. I would look at my overlays and see the last lap time for both of us, and I would start following that whenever I felt the car behind me was getting closer and closer. And whenever they were a second and a half, 2 seconds faster than I was, I knew I would just make a mistake because they would either put a lot of pressure, they would choose a place that was not the best place to overtake and they could cause a collision, or they would just eventually pass. The difference in pace was too big for me to be fighting for that throughout my race, so just let them go through. And whenever the pace was more similar, I would keep looking forward without losing sight of what was happening behind me. So if I started noticing an over-aggressive type of behavior, I quickly learned that those people usually take themselves out of the race, and sometimes they take themselves with someone else out of the race. So I didn't want to be the someone else. Whenever I saw an overly aggressive driver behind me that went for a silly dive or was just trying to overtake at any cost, I'll not put a fight. I'll just let them go through and leave to fight another lap. And my initial goal with that was to just change my mindset, to just build something that whenever I went to real life could leverage. And I even expected to gain some safety rating just because I was being more cautious. So I was thinking I'll have less incident points, which safety rating is going to follow. But what actually really happened and surprised me a lot was seeing my iRating growing. I started breaking my personal best week after week, and that forced me to think what had really changed. And I realized that a lot of the incidents and the accidents that I was part of, they were holding me back. They would cost me a lot of iRating, because even in the instances that I was not taken away of the race, in the sense that I crashed my car, totaled my car, and had to tow it back to the pit lane just to fix it and lose 1, 2, 3 laps. And even in the instances that I didn't have any significant damage on my car, I would still lose several positions. And I'll go to the back of the pack, and now I had to climb my way back and fight for positions, and a lot of times it just happened over and over, and I would finish close to the bottom of the pack. And honestly, most of those incidents and accidents were not my fault. A lot of times I was just being a victim of someone else's misjudgment, and that would cost me my race, and I'd be really frustrated. But now that I was racing cleaner and being more intentional, trying to anticipate some of the things that were happening in the track, trying to avoid any type of accident, I was finishing more races without any incidents, and I was also starting to see myself frequently finishing in the first half of the pack. And if you don't know, whenever I have a very close field in terms of iRating, usually finishing the top half will give you a rating, and finishing the bottom half, it's gonna cost you a rating. And the other thing that happened a lot was me just gaining freebies. I would be racing, focused on finishing a clean race, trying to avoid accidents, and all of a sudden, 2 cars ahead of me, they would crash, get out of the track, and I'll just gain those 2 positions, sometimes even more. iRating climbing became something real, and I really went easily up all the way to 1.82k rating, and that's when the skill started having more importance than just racing cleaner. It's a different type of behavior, even though I still see a lot of crashes at that level. It's just different. Going back to the topic of racing clean, just last month I was talking to one of my friends who sends me every night his races and his crashes and his wins, and he was kind of frustrated because he was still around the 1.1k iRating. And I told him, give this a shot. Just try to avoid crashes at all costs. Don't worry about gaining a position there or defending your position if the other car is driving too aggressively, and just let me know how that goes. And funny enough, in about a month, he went all the way from 1.1 to 1.5k rating. So this mindset won't make you faster, but it's definitely gonna make you a better driver. If you're stuck there in the lower 1000 rating, give this a shot. Just try to race your next few races cleaner. Try to anticipate issues, avoid being caught in the turn 1 carnage that usually happens. And if you have to give up a position, just give it up and try to fight it in the next corner, in the next lap. You're gonna be surprised of how many times the person overtakes you in one corner and next corner they go off track and you just get the position back. And if you like this type of content and you want YouTube to let you know when the next video comes out, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.